In this section, we're going to address areas that are too complex to conform with standard methods, the complex compound curve. Surfaces that are too complex to wrap by simply heating and conforming, that's where the pre-stretch comes into play. We'll demonstrate the pre-stretch method using a mirror as an example. The goal is to hug the film to the mirror, but this is not possible without a pre-stretch. To demonstrate, we'll first attempt to install the film without applying a pre-stretch. Notice the large fingers forming at the top and bottom of the mirror. These fingers are a clear sign that the surface is too complex for a standard installation technique. When forcing the film over the mirror, it's easy to overstretch it, and that's where things start to go wrong. The edges won't hold and the film will fail. Sure, the film can take a bit of a stretch, but there's a limit. If it feels like you're pulling too hard, you probably are. So when you apply a little heat and suddenly the film shrinks back, creating those annoying wrinkles, it's all because it was stretched too tightly in the first place. And to make this happen, we're going to use a pre-stretch technique in the next section. A pre-stretch means stretching the film in one direction to make it easier to shrink and conform in the opposite direction. The key question is, which way do we pre-stretch? Let's take another look at the mirror. Notice how the fingers are forming along the top and bottom edges. This brings us to guideline number 1. When you see fingers forming in one direction, always stretch the film in the opposite direction. This technique allows the film to naturally shrink wrap around the mirror and conform smoothly to the edges. It's all in the pre-stretch that will make or break the film to shrink wrap to the mirror. In this demonstration, we'll show you the wrong and right way to pre-stretch. For the film on the left, we ensure both the top and bottom edges of the film are locked down. The top is secured on the window frame while the bottom edge remains on the liner, which serves as a temporary anchor. The film on the right is the wrong way to pre-stretch because only one edge is tacked down. Working with the right side, heat the film evenly, ensuring the entire surface is hot and ready to stretch. As you can see, the stretch comes from the outside edges where the hands are pulling rather than from the middle. This creates an uneven stretch which does not result in a proper pre-stretch. Now let's focus on the film on the left, where both edges are securely locked down. When heating and stretching the film, you'll notice a more even stretch. This is because securing both edges helps distribute the tension evenly across the surface, including the middle, ensuring a consistent and proper pre-stretch. Now that we've done a proper pre-stretch, we'll return to the mirror. Anchor the film to the back of the mirror and pull the film towards you. The film will lay naturally flat on the mirror, but you'll still see large fingers at the top and bottom. Don't worry, this is where we trust the pre-stretch. Just make sure the fingers are evenly distributed between the top and bottom of the mirror. This is a crucial step for maintaining the pre-stretch. If the corners aren't secured, the film may shrink and shift, undoing the pre-stretch you've worked to achieve. Locking down the corners ensures the stretch remains stable and contained in the middle of the mirror. Once the film is locked down, split the job in half. Start with the side that has the larger fingers. This is where the pre-stretch will have the biggest effect. Heating this side will first allow you to shrink the film and take full advantage of the pre-stretch. If you start with the easier side, you will lose the benefit of the pre-stretch and won't have enough tension for the larger fingers. So the heating technique for the pre-stretch is different. Instead of heating from the tack line to your hand like we showed before, this time you'll heat from the tack line itself. Remember, goal is not to stretch the film any further, but to guide it to the surface. Apply heat in the direction of the film's natural movements, guiding it to the mirror's surface. Notice how I'm not moving the heat gun back and forth like before. Instead, I am directing the heat toward the tack line to my hand using the film's pre-stretch to guide it in place. By the end of this process, the mirror is wrapped with minimal stress on the edges, and the film is securely conformed to the shape. The art of the pre-stretch is a powerful technique that makes even the most complex surfaces manageable, and with practice it becomes a valuable tool in your installation skill set.